Here's something that might change how you think about pricing forever. Researchers gave people wine to sample inside an fMRI machine. They were actually scanning the subject's brains while they tasted it. Some people were told they were drinking wine that cost $45 a bottle. Others were told it was from a $5 bottle. The catch? It was all the exact same wine. And here's the real surprise. The people who thought they were drinking the expensive wine didn't just say it tasted better, their brains actually experienced more pleasure. The reward centers lit up more. The enjoyment was real. So what does that mean for how you price your products? I'll explain. I'm Roger Dooley. Thanks for joining me. The wine study came out of Stanford and Caltech, led by researcher Baba Shiv, and it challenges our assumptions about pricing. We tend to think of price as separate from the product. You've got the thing, the wine, the software, the consulting service, and then you've got what you charge for it. Two different things. But that's not how our brains work. What this research shows is that price isn't just information about a product. Price actually becomes part of the experience. It changes what you taste, what you feel, how you value something. And this has huge implications for marketers when they set prices. Now, let me be clear about what this study actually found. It's a bit more complex than expensive equals better. The researchers used fMRI scans to measure what they called experienced pleasantness. That's the actual pleasure happening in your brain, not what you report on a survey afterward. When the subjects believed they were drinking more expensive wine, their medial orbitofrontal cortex, a key area for experiencing pleasure, showed significantly more activity. This wasn't people trying to look sophisticated. They weren't rationalizing and saying, oh, it's expensive, so I better say it's good. Their brains were genuinely having a better experience. Here's another interesting finding for marketers. A separate large-scale study had over 500 people do blind tastings, wines ranging from cheap to over $150 a bottle. When tasters didn't know the prices, they showed no preference for the expensive wines. In fact, inexperienced tasters actually rated the cheap wines slightly higher. The wine itself isn't what creates the superior experience. It's the belief about the wine, the expectation, the context. Now here's the tension I see companies struggle with all the time. On one hand, we know from other research that paying high prices activates the pain centers in the brain. There's literally something called the pain of paying. I'll link to a video I recorded about this in the description. When people feel like something is overpriced, it hurts. They're less likely to buy. But now we have this research showing that once they do buy, a higher price actually increases enjoyment. So which is it? Should you price high or low? Well, here's what lots of people miss. These aren't actually in conflict. They operate at different stages of the customer journey. The pain of paying affects the purchase process. When you pull out your wallet in the wine store and start handing over 20s, that hurts. But the pleasure from higher price affects the consumption experience. How much will they enjoy it after they buy? Smart pricing strategy has to account for both. Think about how luxury brands handle this. They don't just slap a high price on things. They create an entire context. The store experience, the packaging, the brand story that makes the high price feel justified before purchase. And then that same context amplifies enjoyment after the purchase. The price tag has to feel right at the moment of buying, and then that same price enhances the experience of owning and using. This is also why discounting can be so dangerous for premium brands. You're not only reducing margin, you're potentially reducing how much customers enjoy your product. I've seen brands destroy themselves through overdistribution and constant sales. They train customers to believe their product wasn't really worth the full price. And that belief changed their product experience. So what do you do with this? First, if you're selling something premium, protect your pricing. Every discount, every sale, every special deal chips away at the experienced quality of your product. That's what the science shows. Second, context makes a huge difference. The subjects in the study didn't pay for the wine themselves. They were just told the price. That was enough. So everything that communicates value, your packaging, your environment, how you present the price, shapes the actual experience customers have. Third, consider what expectations you're setting. If you're positioning something as a bargain, you may inadvertently be reducing how much people enjoy it or appreciate it. Sometimes raising prices, with the right supporting context, can boost margins and improve customer satisfaction. Here's the takeaway. Price isn't just what you charge. Price is part of your product. The next time someone tells you that pricing is just a financial decision, remember those brain scans. Remember that the $5 wine and the $45 wine were identical, except in the minds of the people drinking them. What you charge shapes what people experience. Use that wisely. Check the description for a link to my article that goes into more detail and links to the studies. If you found this useful, subscribe for more on the science of marketing and persuasion. I'll see you in the next one.